What's happening, YouTube? Just wanted to have a. I think this is going to be my last video for 2014. So I just wanted to say, first of all, as we close the year, just want to say a happy New Year to those who've gone through the New Year barrier in countries like Australia and New Zealand and places like that. So I just want to say happy New Year to you guys. Welcome to 2015. And for those of us who are actually going through the New Year celebrations, I just want to say happy New Year to every soul, human being out there, both on the, in those other countries who are actually enjoying the celebration. So if you are going through it, happy New Year to you. It's just a quick video, really, just to summarize 2014 in terms of how I feel, specifically in terms of boxing and things like that, or in life in general, but specifically in boxing. For me, it's been a interesting year. There's been loads of different fights which I've really enjoyed. Loads of fighters who have done particularly well. I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that it's been a lot of controversial fights, but there's been a lot of good fights as well. Not as enjoyable as 2013, but still, all in all, it's been a good year. And obviously, I want to give my props and my hat tip to all those fighters who actually were brave enough to actually go into the ring and challenge themselves, regardless of whatever style of fight or type of fight that you actually thought it was. I just wanted to say to all those fighters, you have my utmost respect. Anybody who has the kahunas and the balls to actually get into the boxing ring, for me, I always have them in high regard, regardless of whether I like the fighter or not. I still always have to respect the fact that they actually have the the spirit and the will to actually get into that ring, because when you actually get into the ring, you have those two guys in the ring. It is the most dangerous sport in the world, specifically based on the fact that they're actually trying to damage each other, having those headshots and things like that. But irrespective of that, they will always have my respect, regardless of whether I like them. But for me, what I enjoyed the most was the fact that a few fighters have actually come to the forefront, and it's not just specifically about Mayweather and Pacquiao. I mean, you had Terence Crawford having a really good year, so props to him. He's done really well, even though his promotional company didn't really think much of him. They still don't. So for all those people who are thinking that Top Rank actually respect Terence Crawford, no, they don't. But anyways, that's by and by. He's doing well. He's doing his thing, and hopefully, if he sticks to what makes him successful, he'll go on to be a very, very good fighter. But I have this feeling that they will he'll suffer the same fate as every other black fighter, fighting for Top Rank. But hey, that's just my opinion. We'll see how he goes in 2015. But obviously, I wish him all the best and wish him all well. I just wish that he wasn't fighting for them, and for specifically personal reasons. But Terence will find out for himself when the time comes. But obviously, I wish him well. Other fighters who have done really well is the fight with Nonizio Donaire and Walters. Obviously, Walters exceeded a lot of people's expectations. He's a big puncher, very good fighter. Obviously from Jamaica. Props to him. He's come to the forefront, and hopefully in 2015 he'll go on to bigger and better things. So props to him. And to be honest with you, I just want to specifically mention those two fighters. For me, those are the two guys that, I'll keep my eye on specifically, just to see how they progress, and hopefully they will progress into, if they're not mismanaged, if they're managed properly, then they'll go on to be the stars of the sport for the future. Those are the two guys I actually see dominating the sport for years to come, if they're managed properly. But for me, I just think Terence Crawford is going to hit that brick wall at some stage, because that's what happens when you sign for Top Rank. Things will go wrong. And it's not going to surprise me if 2015 a few things go wrong and there's a few disputes. But hey, I don't want to wish the guy any ill feeling or any bad luck. It's just what I see, and I just see problems down the road. Personally, I just don't see good things unless he wises up and realizes that he's going to get fucked over at Top Rank. But it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, it's up to him. He's the fighter. He has to decide how he wants to carry on his future. But I don't see a very good future with Top Rank personally, and I'm sure at some stage in 2015 he will see that himself. But obviously, I wish him all the best. But I'll be watching out those two, because those two, I think, is going to be fascinating to actually see how they develop into the fighters I expect them to be. They have the ingredients to be to get to the very, very best. Those two have the ingredients if they are managed properly, if they follow the correct paths, and train diligently as professionals. Then I don't see any reason why they shouldn't exceed beyond their own expectations of where they're going to go, especially in 2015 and beyond. But there's other factors that's going to come across next year in 2015, which I feel will hamper their development. And I'm not going to go into those factors. I know what they are. If you're a student of boxing, you will know what those factors would be. So if you don't, then it's up to you to actually learn the sport properly, so you can actually understand what the factors will be and how it's going to hamper them. But some of you will probably sit down and dismiss it as, oh, well, just scaremongering and things like that. But when you've been focused on the sport for nearly 22, 23 years, as I have, understanding what obstacles are put in front of you to become an elite fighter, and I just know at some stage those obstacles will be put in front of these two young fighters, and it's not going to be from other fighters. It's going to be things outside the ring. There's going to be things that's going to be influencing how they're going to develop. And if you, like I said, if you're a student of boxing, if you understand how it works, then you will know what those factors are. And it's not a question of putting them in the right fights. Nothing to do with that. They both have the skill set and the skill level to understand different styles and understand how to counter those different styles. Both of them hopefully would have learned from others and through history as to how to counteract styles which may give them the biggest discomfort. They should hopefully have studied that, and if they haven't, then that's something for them to develop as they get more experienced and go through more tougher and more difficult situations. That will come with experience. But ultimately it all comes down to how they dedicate themselves professionally in order to fulfill their potential, really. But anyways, those are the two I just wanted to pick out. And I'm not even gonna go into the Pacquiao situation and the Mayweather situation. That's really, it's been played out by so many people. So many people have given their opinions about it. But if the fight doesn't happen in 2015, to be honest with you, the fight's never going to happen. And if it's never going to happen, fine. I mean, we just move on and forget about it, because the same thing's been said since 2009. People think it's Floyd's fault. Fine. I just find it astonishing that one fighter wants to fight but he gets the blame, and he gets ridiculed, and he gets called a liar for actually saying that let's make a fight happen. I find that incredible. I just find that astonishing. But hey, this is the mindset of those who will never find anything positive to say about Floyd. That's fine. That's absolutely fine, because that's your opinion, and I could go through and become one of those individuals who, starts ranting and raving. No, at the end of the day, if the fight doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I mean, I remember reading, because I'm just slightly a little bit younger, but I remember reading about Sugar Ray Leonard saying a lot of things when Marvin Hagler was calling him out. I remember, and everybody was, going along with what Sugar Ray said. I mean, Sugar Ray was a darling of boxing. Everybody loved him, and, but Hagler just wanted to fight. And Sugar Ray didn't fight him at the time he should have fought him. He fought him a few years later. But Sugar Ray, he's revered and loved because the fight took place. And I kind of find it strange that, it's not necessarily the same thing with Floyd and Manny Pacquiao. It's not the same thing. It's just strange that one fighter wants to fight, wants to try and get it done, but just because the fighter says, look, just do random blood testing, or let's, we're going to fight on this date, or, what's the hold up? Your promoter doesn't want to fight, doesn't want you to fight, doesn't, but he's the one who's ridiculed, because he's actually saying, let's get this done, while the other fighter is not really saying a lot. All the other fighters ever said is, it's up to my promoter. And that's the thing that people keep forgetting, and people keep missing that point, that Manny Pacquiao has always said throughout every single negotiation, or throughout every single time that this fight has been proposed, he's always said and been consistent about one thing. And the one thing he's always said is, it is up to my promoter, Bob Arum. He's always said that. And the thing, that's what people miss. It's not like, oh, I want to fight him, and fuck it, let's just make a date and just get on with it. It's never been like that. It's always been consistent with Manny, and that's him. That's what his job is. His job is to ensure that he gets the best he can and in the best position he can, and that's through his promoter, and that's fine. But if you're gonna put the blame on both sides. There's no point putting the blame on one side, but hey, it doesn't matter. Like I said, at the end of the day, people have their opinions and they want to do that. Personally, I'm just beginning to start thinking to myself, after all these years, I don't think the fight's going to happen. And I remember somebody saying that on a Google Hangout, and I thought the guy was absolutely insane. But the more I think, I can't remember the guy's name now, I'm sorry. But I remember listening to a Google Hangouts from, I think it was Boxing Beats and Rhymes. He had a Google Hangouts with this guy, and I remember him saying it a few months ago. He's saying, this fight's never going to happen. And I just thought, I laughed. I was like, yeah, right, of course it's going to happen. But the more I think about it, the more I think he's right. If these guys want this fight to happen, this fight would have happened. But I just don't think that this, one side just doesn't want this fight to happen. And you can decide whichever side that is. I know personally, I looking at the facts, I know which particular side doesn't want this fight to happen. But it's up to you. You've already made you've drawn your the line in the sand, and you already made your mind, and that's fine. But anyways, I mean, the other fighter, I'll just move on to Andrew Ward. I mean, I just want to see Andrew Ward get in the ring, and actually, he needs to do something in 2015, because to me, Andrew Ward, pound for pound number 2 in the world now. No, he's probably, right now, he's number 10 right now. And people will be probably shocked about that. How can you put Andrew Ward down at number 10? Well, because he's not fighting. He's not active, and he needs to start fighting people. He needs to get in the ring, and he needs to either, call out Andrew Durrell, or, which Anthony Durrell. I'm not sure which brother's got the title. I think it's Anthony. Call out Anthony Durrell and just get that fight made. Fuck what everybody else says about pay-per-view numbers. It doesn't matter. That's not the point. get that fight, become a multi, WBC super middleweight champion, as well as I think his belt. I can't remember which belt he's got. WBA, I think. I think he's a WBA champion. But yeah, get those two belts, beat Anthony Jarrell, and then if Carl Froch wants to become a bitch and keeps on chasing Chavez Jr., I mean, I don't know what he thinks he's doing, but just call out Andrew Ward and say not Andrew Ward. Call out Froch and say, Froch, well, fine, I'll go fight you in England. Just get on with it. Go down to Wembley, sell out Wembley again and get it done. Because I know people want to see Andrew Ward, and I know Andrew Ward want to show that he is the best 168 pounder in the world, and take those title back to US. Because at the end of the day, you need to do something. You can't sit on your laurels anymore. You're getting older. I think 32 now, 31. You're getting older now. Just because you haven't been in so many wars doesn't mean that the body itself, things might happen. And I just think that you need to get active. Personally, I think you just need to get it done. To get in there, fight Anthony Jarrell, getting done. Or vacate the title if you don't really want to fight, and then move up to 175 and fight those guys up there. It's as simple as that. You can't sit back and expect people to call you out. No, it doesn't work like that. And the mindset of so many of these fighters these days is changed. It's not the same as it was years ago, where people just come and knock on your door and begging you for scraps and stuff like that. It don't work like that. You need to. That's what Froch did. He just fuck it. he called out the guy Andrew Ward should have beaten in what's his face from Canada. What's his name again? He called him out and beat him up and won the title. That's why I have a lot of respect for Carl Froch. I do. I mean, I don't. He's not technically. He's so flawed. It's unbelievable, but you've got to admire his determination, and I do admire him a lot. I didn't think I was ever going to like a guy like Carl Froch, but I actually do like him. I like him a lot. I just think he's so underrated, and people might be shocked about that. How can you like this guy? I do like him because at the end of the day, he says a lot of crap, but geez, you got to back it up, and he does back it up. He does. I mean, that's the thing, and that's what I like about him. He's backing up what he's saying. I mean, and Andrew Ward needs to get in there and stop being such a, I don't know, just sitting at home. That's not good enough. You can't be staying a pound to pound the second best fighter in the world. You're not. That ship sailed, mate. 2014, fighting one time in 2014 is not good enough. You should have fought about 3 or 4 times. You should have done. And I don't care what the issue is in terms of litigation. That's not important. What's important is you need to get in the ring. You need to get in the ring. You need to fight. So that's Andrew Ward sorted out. Stevenson, Adonis Stevenson. That's to me that's a problem. Because I like Adonis Stevenson a lot, and a lot of people give him a lot of stick and a lot of hell about the fact that they say he's a one-handed fighter and all that kind of stuff. I think a lot of people, this one-handed thing kind of makes me laugh, because every time I watch Stevenson fight, I think they forget that in order for him to set up that powerful left hand, you need to have a radar, and the radar is his right hand, and people forget that. It's not, you can't just have one hand in boxing. You just can't. It don't work like that. You have to have a radar in order to guide where that missile is going to go. And if you know the sport, you have to understand that. All these people see is just left hand, left hand, left hand. I watch his right hand very, very carefully. I watch his right hand, and his right hand does a lot of probing. And you cannot just have one hand in boxing. You just can't. It doesn't work like that. The other hand has to do something, and that right hand does do a lot of probing. Yes, should he have a stiffer jab with the right hand? Yeah, I would say he should. It's too late now. The guy's 37, and they're going to be 38 years old. but he should have developed a right hand, a very strong right hand jab, in order to, to complement his left hand. But it's too late now. But either way, he's not a one-handed fighter. He does have a right hand. The fact that he doesn't use the right hand effectively doesn't necessarily mean that he's not effective in what he brings to the table. And I think a lot of people are disrespecting Adonis. But I think he needs to get active, and I think he needs to work. I think he needs to, it's time to step up to the plate and challenge Kovalev. And I personally think he will beat Kovalev. How can you say that? Kovalev's a monster. Kovalev's a monster. He's got two hands. He's a monster. There's a lot of things I see in Kovalev that it's if you honestly look at his fighting style, you can see there's a lot of flaws. I mean, the guy's strong. The guy's big puncher, no problem. But I just think that Adonis's length, his reach, is going to be. I think it's gonna surprise Stevenson. I think it's gonna survive Kovalev, because I think Kovalev underestimates that reach. But hey, when the fight happens, when it's signed, and I'm not gonna be surprised when Stevenson beats Kovalev. It won't surprise me. It just won't. I mean, I'm not gonna jump up and down, because I really, to be honest with you, they don't pay me. So I wish they paid me, so at least I can enjoy it. But they don't pay me. Very respective. That's just my thoughts anyway. I'm not going to make this video too long. It's already, long enough. So, it's been a good year. And I hope 2015 becomes a much better year anyway. But anyways, wish you all a happy new year. And I'll make another one soon. Peace.